Preparing for behavioral interview questions is very important for a job interview as they are part of most of the job interviews. Most of the candidates go unprepared for behavioral based interview questions because they think how can they prepare each and every questions, and finally in the end they crash their interview. If you see closely, you will find that by preparing for 6 to 8 behavioral based interview questions, you will not only rock your interview, but also you can answer any behavioral based interview questions smoothly. In today's video, I am going to share a powerful technique and method to answer all the behavioral based questions confidently. Hi guys, this is Sandeep Khaira and you're watching Conical Education. Before we proceed further, let me remind you to subscribe below and enable the bell notifications to not miss any updates on this channel. You can also follow me on my social media pages. Links for all of them are given in the description below. Let's dive into today's video. Let us first understand what does interviewer wants to judge about you, wants to learn about you, and what he wants to see in you through these questions. Though there are many things he can see in you through behavioral based interview questions, still there are two important parameters he wants to judge about you by asking you these questions. Number one is, do you really match the skills mentioned in the job description? You have applied for the job, there are certain skills mentioned in the job description. Do you really carry those skill set? And number two is that you have sent out your CV. You have mentioned your experiences in the CV. You have mentioned your responsibilities. You have mentioned your skills. Do these skills and capabilities really match what is required in the new position? Are you capable to play that role in that position? Based on your answers and how you handle these questions during the interview, interviewer will be able to judge whether you are capable enough to play this role in that position or not. Most of the candidates come unprepared to answer these behavioral based interview questions, or they think that they haven't been into that situation related to the question which has been asked. So finally they crash the interview. First of all, let me clarify to you, there is no right or no wrong way to answer these questions or to deal with such day-to-day situations. It's only about how you handle these situations, what is your working style, and at the end you are able to accomplish the work and achieve the goal. Always be confident, truthful, and be yourself while answering these questions. You must not fake answers to these questions, because if you fake the answers to these questions, then most likely you will not be confident and it will not leave a good impression on the interviewer. If you be truthful and answer all your questions based on your experiences, then you will be in the flow, and definitely at the end interviewer will be convinced. He might ask certain other related questions, but it shouldn't be a problem to answer these questions because you are speaking from your own experiences. So you can answer as many as questions from the interview related to your own experiences. Through behavioral based interview questions, interviewer wants to judge few skills in you which are definitely required in a professional environment to address day-to-day activities, to address day-to-day tasks. Whether you are in a senior position, in a junior position, or you came fresh out of the college. To apply this technique, you must understand what kind of skills interviewer wants to judge about you through these interview questions. You can look at the job description, you can look at your CV, and based on all the information, you can come up with the categories and skills which are important for the role, and then you can prepare to answer those questions. You can prepare some stories, you can think about some situations which you can relate to these skills, which can relate to these situations, and put forward in front of the interviewer to answer all these questions. And in that way, you will not be surprised or panic during the interview process. You will just pull out one of your stories, you will pull out just one of the situation. You can answer the questions related to confidence, leading the team, flexibility, handling the stressful situation, handling the risk mitigation, planning skills, executing the plan, driving and team skills, understanding the priorities, interpersonal skills, or handling difficult client or situation, and finally flexibility, feedback, etc. So all of these questions can be answered by using this technique. The next step in the process is to research. Just go on Google and look for the behavioral based interview questions. Try to read those questions from various websites and try to find common questions from all those websites, and try to find top questions being asked during the interview process. Once you have the complete list of questions with you related to your profile, related to the job description, then try to tag them, try to categorize them based on all the skills you have listed out, based on your own profile, based on the job description. Once you have prepared that list of questions, categorize those questions, you will find that there are only 6 to 8 or maybe 10 questions that you have to prepare for, and you will be prepared answer any behavioral based interview questions during the interview. It doesn't matter what situation interviewer is posing in front of you during the interview process. And you will also find that every question will be covering more than one skills, so it is easier for you to reduce the number of questions to address all the categories with the limited number of questions. The next step in this process is to prepare the answers to the questions which you have shortlisted. At this point, do not start writing answers directly to these questions. You will be confused, you will be stressed, and you will not be writing good answers to these questions. What you can do, you have all the questions in front of you, you have all the skills in front of you. You have to think around those questions, those skills. Try to think about your past experiences related to those skills and related to those questions. You can make the list of those experiences with you. Once you have the list of those experiences related to the skills, related to the questions, then you can start thinking about those experiences in detail. You have to address 3 points when you are thinking about those past experiences. Number 1, you have to think that what was the problem. Number 2, what action did you have to take to resolve that issue? And number 3, what result did you achieve after you took that action? You can start preparing stories corresponding to these examples. So you have to prepare these stories. You have to prepare these experiences in detail to answer all these questions. There is a method called as STAR method, which helps you to prepare such stories, which helps you to come up with such examples which you can relate to various skills to answer various behavioral based interview questions. I also talked about this method in the past in one of my live sessions. Still, let me brief you a little bit here. What is this method? As this method is called as STAR method, so the full form of STAR is situation, task, action and result. So while preparing for the answer or answering the question during the interview process, you must address the situation. What does it mean? You must first explain the business setting. You must first set the scene for the interviewer to understand. You must explain to the interviewer, was it related to a project or was it related to a client, or it could be certain other situation. Next is task. You have to explain to the interviewer what was the task for you. Was it a big problem or issue? What went wrong? Did something stop working, or did this thing has a bigger impact for the customer? So you have to explain the task that you had to address at that point of time. So during the interview, interviewer must be clear what was the task for you at that point of time in that particular situation. Next point in the STAR method is action. What action did you take to solve that problem? Considering your role, did you make a plan to get out of the situation? Did you execute the plan? Were you the developer or tester who helped to fix the issue by going out of the way, by going an extra mile and deliver to the customer to exceed his expectations? And next point is result. What benefits were gained for the client, for your organization by accomplishing those tasks from your side? In this way, using STAR method, you can prepare answers to all your questions. And next step for you is that you have to practice all those answers so that you can answer those questions confidently, flawlessly during the interview process, so that interviewer is convinced by your answers and believes that you have the knowledge, you have the experience in that area what he is looking for. Sometimes biggest mistake candidates make is that they do not practice those answers. They do not write down those answers. They just think about the situation and that's it. And during the interview, they are not clear about the situation, they have not prepared their answer, and they ramble or stumble while answering those questions and do not come out well. One important tip I can tell you for practicing is that you can record a video on your mobile to answer those questions. After recording the video, you can watch the video, listen to the answers, observe yourself in the video, try to see you are confident and try to fix the flaws whatever you observe in that video while answering those questions. In that way, if you follow this approach to answer all those questions, you will be definitely well prepared to answer these questions during the interview process. There is also an old technique to prepare and perfect those answers, is that you can stand in front of the mirror, try speaking those answers and improve by observing yourself. So in the end, by perfecting and practicing those answers, you will definitely do well during the interview process. The most important thing I want to mention here is that once you have answers to all these questions with you, you are in the interview. Then when you are posed such questions during the interview process, you just have to think about an experiences which is more related to the situation, and then you can explain the whole situation by relating it to the question which has been asked by the interviewer to you. This is all I have in today's video. Give a thumbs up below, subscribe to the channel and share with your friends. Have a good day.